As the stock market was making new all-time highs today, we also saw some data that was at the same levels as 2008, right before the great financial crisis. Now, before we come over and take a look at how the indices fared across the board today, notice we are in the midst of earnings season. After the bell, we have Tesla, we have Alphabet, we have ServiceNow, we have IBM, we have Chipotle, just to name a few. And is this going to be good for stocks or not? Because if we look over here at Google, Google initially rocketing up, bink, got yanked right back down. But wait, it's not over with yet, all right? Just because Google is down now does not mean it's going to stay down. Now, when we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board today, the Dow was up 507 points. The NASDAQ was up 127 points. S&P 500 up 49 points, with the Russell 2000 being up 3.43. We come over and look at advancing issues versus declining. We had 69.2% of issues advancing on the day. Then when we come over and look at the sectors across the board, only one sector was in the red. That was utilities. Every other sector was in the green. Healthcare was by far outpacing everything else today. Now, as we come over and look at the fear and greed index, once again, we are back into extreme greed. We've been in a greed and extreme greed for quite some time. Can't stop, won't stop. Now, all this rally, it all started off last night in the Asia session. We see this article right here. Trump secures historic $550 billion trade deal with Japan. Never been anything like it before. Now, that really helped to set the tone last night when looking at the S&P. You can see last night when that news came out, we had that lift on the way up. And really from that point on, we just continued to grind higher and higher. And even after hours, we continue to see the S&P 500 making new all-time highs. And while we're talking about new all-time highs, if we come over and look at the Dow Jones after hours just put in another new all-time high. Can you say can't stop, won't stop? Markets only go up. But then today we did see a couple other movements out there in the market. Trump shifts gears to EU after striking the Japan deal. And here's what we have to say. If we come over to Financial Juice real quick and we look right here, here's where we got the news. And this happened right when I went to lunch on the live stream. And if you guys don't want to miss that next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. But you can essentially see when we got the first news, look at the Euro versus US dollar, big rocket ship on the way up. Look at the S&P 500 rocketed up, and that's really what kicked off the afternoon rally. If you come over and look at when that actually transpired, right about here is where that news came into play. And then from that point on, there's been no look back, can't stop, won't stop. However, there was a little knee-jerk reaction on the way back down. And that really happened when you looked right up here. Trump Trade Advisor says on US and EU deal report, take it with a grain of salt. And you can see we got a little bit of a hiccup in the S&P 500, but ultimately the S&P 500 recovered that and continued to go on up. Now, when we look at what we learned out here this morning, we only had one major economic news, and that was existing home sales. We also had crude oil inventory numbers, but in terms of what's going to affect the indices out there, we had existing home sales. If we look at this article right here, existing home sales dip back near 15-year low in June as price hit record highs. Now, if we scroll this back real quick, and we look at this chart, I want you guys to pay very close attention. Notice where we're currently at. And we've been sitting down here at these levels. The last time that we were really down in these areas was really when? Near the pandemic, but even before that, back here during 2008, right before everything got really bad out there with the housing market. So our stock's about to drop next. We've already seen housing prices down. Is it only a matter of time? Are we on borrowed time before things really start to get ugly out here? Now, if we come over and look at tomorrow we do have PMI data coming out. We'll also at 10 a.m. have new home sales coming out. So we have a little bit of news to contend with tomorrow. Come over and look at the dollar index. Dollar index today was also down once again. And speaking of things being down, if you look at the dollar index was down, but then we come over and look at the precious metal gold. Notice gold was also down today as well. Gold basically having a bearish engulfing-ish type of candle. And we're coming right into the area that we talked about on the live stream for a potential pullback. I said near this high volume node here, or right towards this structure breakout point, anywhere from 33.76 up here to about 33.89. You can see we basically hit right down towards that 33.89. Now, if gold can go ahead and turn and start coming back up and getting back even halfway into that down candle today, then I would want to turn my attentions to seeing gold run up and make a new all-time high. Amazing deals out there. Apex Trader Funding, 80% off all evaluation accounts. My Funded Futures, 50% off first-time users. Tradify, 35% off all accounts. Use promo code Mike. If you guys want to trade with a prop firm with the best payout policy out there, Take Profit Trader, right now, 40% off all the evaluation accounts. Best yet, no activation fee. Take advantage of these offers. Use the link in the description box down below. Now, if we come over and look at the volatility index today, absolutely getting destroyed. Look at this on the 5-minute chart. Closing near the lower end of the range. The VIX now is closed out at 15.36. With the lower VIX, we'll see the ranges start to contract. Less range, less opportunity out there in the markets for us. Now, as we come over and look at the SPY real quick, SPY today making new all-time highs. So if you've been tracking this Fibonacci retracement, well, it's going to elude us once again. I'm going to simply grab the Fibonacci retracement and put it right up here towards the high of today's candle. Again, we came for the retest of this consolidation area. The market basically just says, you know what? I'm not ready to go down, not just yet. On the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator basically flatlined out here. 30-minute chart, however, look at the MACD indicator. Very strong 45-degree angle on the way up. Good separation of the two lines. And you can see from the profile shape, basically signifying a trend day today. And then after hours, we're even gapping up once again. Now, I would say that it's highly probable that tomorrow will probably at least come down towards the point of control, 633.30. And we do have a large gap below it. We do have a gap below us from today, but notice today we also did not test the point of control. So tomorrow we're going to have 2 untested point of controls, which increases the probabilities, what minimum, come back and test this level. Now, if tomorrow morning we are trading above the high from today, then you know what? No need to be looking for sell side trades just yet. Wait for the market to prove that it definitely wants to go down before we look for selling opportunities. Now, as we come over and look at the futures markets on the 4-hour chart, can't stop, won't stop, markets continue up. Now, earlier in the week, we talked about this potential A to B equals C to D pattern on the way up. And there's 2 different ways we can draw it. I'm going to use this one right here. And that gives us a price completion at about 64.50.17. Now, since we deal in quarter point increments, I would round that down and just say 64.50. And from where we're at now, that's roughly only 50 points higher from the current price. Can we get there this week? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, as we come over and start looking at the daily profiles real quick on the 30-minute chart, something we were talking about on the live stream, and that was the fact that we had this pivot point. Now, I did go ahead and fire off some micro trades down towards this level, and guess what? This happens to be one of the times we did not come back and test that area. I shared with you guys some stats on the live stream where the P point gets tested roughly 70% of the time on a daily basis. So now the fact that we did not take out the P point tonight, whenever we get the new floor trader pivots, to me, they're going to provide a very high probability target in the near future. So as we come over and look at the volume profiles, 63.99.5 will be value area high. The point of control will come in about 63.89.5 with value area low being about 63.66. Now, if we're trading below value area high tonight, I would want to turn my attention towards a point of control. Notice, because we have a point of control from yesterday was not hit. So now this is going to be 2 consecutive point of controls. Whenever we start stacking untested point of controls on top of each other, they become higher probability targets. Now, we come over and look at the QQQs today. The Qs did not make new all-time highs. We saw the Dow futures. We saw the S&P futures. So will tomorrow be the day for the NASDAQ? We can see right now we're still waiting on that 38% retracement. If we go higher tomorrow, we'll simply have to grab the Fibonacci retracement tool on the way up. Right now, the market's not ready to go down. On the 4-hour chart, we do have a bearish cross in the MACD indicator, but you know what? All intents and purposes, price continues to push on up. Then we come over and start looking at the 30-minute chart. Notice today, after hours, we have a massive gap up after hours. Now, if you're looking to be sell side the market, wait and see, can we at minimum get back below the high of today? If so, I'd want to target the point of control. I'd want to target value area low. And then if you're looking for a runner, I'd want to see, can we come all the way back down, potentially towards this high volume node over here, about 556, then the 38% retracement, then we can start to focus on some of the additional Fibonacci retracement levels. Now, if we come over and look at the NASDAQ futures, you can see a big rocket ship on the way up. And now we are trading back above last week's value area high. So from a weekly standpoint, higher time frame, we're back on buy side of the trade. Now, as we come over and look at the daily profiles on the NASDAQ with the 30-minute chart, notice what we're doing. We are closing miles above value area high, which comes in at 23,280.75. Now, if you guys have been following me for any amount of time, you know, for me, that's going to be a very high probability target. And notice we were able to take out that point of control all the way up here, 23,394.75. Now, depending on how aggressive of a trader you are, to me, this is going to provide a high probability target. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to aim for this target tonight in Asia or if I'm going to wait till tomorrow. But the rule behind this is whenever we close outside of value within the next 1 to 2 days, highly probable we come back and visit that level. And again, that level is going to be 23,280.75. The point of control will be 23,208.75, with value area low being about 23,179.75. So as we start looking at this for tomorrow, keep in mind we have some structure breakout points as well. Right here, we had a structure breakout point, which we already came back and tested, but we also have one right over in here. So if you're looking for a quicker target, so if you're looking to counter trend the move on the way back down, keep in mind this zone right over here will be a high probability target to the downside, 23,349 to about 23,345. Now, if you'd like to learn about the different volume profile shapes and more importantly, how to trade them, make sure to watch this next video right here.